No, you're not in my way. Not. Well, I will do my best, but I'm going to tell you the same thing. There is no expectations in public meetings of privacy. No, you're good. You're good. In fact, in public meetings, people should want cameras.
I know.
Oh, I know. Most people just teach me about it, so I'm good. I'm a school teacher by day, and I do this at night.
Where are you?
MacArthur High School.
Yeah? What's that?
I'm a special ed teacher, so I deal with kids with disabilities. This is my 22nd year. This is my first year over at MacArthur. I taught for 10 years at Lawton High, and then I taught a year over at Central. I did 4 or 5 years over at Eisenhower, and then I did 4 years on the island of Saipan.
Island of Saipan?
Yeah.
Where?
Guam is?
I'm not very good at geography.
How about history? Are you good at history? Remember World War II? Remember we dropped the nuclear bomb on Hiroshima and Nagasaki?
Yeah.
So if you look at your hand, okay, you're in the Japanese islands. This is Guam, Tinian, Saipan. Tinian's where we launched to bomb Hiroshima. So we had Battle of the Marianas, we had Guam, we had Rota, we had Tinian, and Saipan. Saipan was one of the bloodiest battles in World War II. It took 7,000 Marines. 2 weeks to take the island to Tinian, and the reason why is because they can launch B-17s to go towards Japan and bomb them without sinking aircraft carrier. So,
Yeah. I got those over there that are set up.
I do. I really enjoy it. So,
I've got set up. Oh,
go ahead.
your paper clip.
I should have paid more attention.
Yeah.
No, when I was younger.
Ready?
I'm not sure. These are here that ready to be put up.
Look at his home.
I'll later start driving.
by the way, did I share business cards with all y'all? That's me. And I'm live streaming this right now, so.
Oh, okay, awesome. For some reason, I'm thinking crying, like you go around crying.
No, the historical town crier. Ringing the bell. But I have been known to cry.
Have you been known to cry?
I have been.
Yeah, I got that one right off.
And I'm live streaming this right now too.
So that means
Well, you can say whatever you want. Just remember, you can do whatever you want.
well, no, I'm not in church, so I might let one slip not you. Very nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. And your name is?
Donald.
Donald. Nice to meet you. Oh, I should probably put my badge on too. I have one of those.
Did you go to the Sill?
I did. I've got a ring and
I'm from
everything.
South Carolina.
What part of South
Orangeburg.
I know Orangeburg
You
very
know where
well.
Orangeburg? Yes.
I know where Orangeburg is.
Oh my goodness. This, I forgot his name. He's from Virginia Beach, and so you were from South Carolina.
Yeah, so I was in band company at Citadel.
when were you at Sill?
I graduated in 2001, so my class was the second class to have women, and I sat next to Nancy Mace for 3 years. 2 years.
Oh my goodness.
So Nancy, I'm mentioning Nancy's book.
So are you from South Carolina?
Nope, I graduated from Duncan High School just over.
My goodness. Now, wow. And just why Sill?
Well, beach, and it was 2,000 miles away from my mom. I had a desire to go into the military, but that didn't work out for various reasons. But I also had some people say, "Oh, you can't make it," and I'm the type of person who go, "Yeah, I like to win bets," and I'm like, "Bet."
Good for you. So you just did your time there and came back?
So I didn't have to go in the military. It's not a requirement for the Citadel, and I did spend about a year and a half in the Guard. My grandmother got sick with cancer, which is why I didn't pursue a commission further than I did. And I came back and took care of her until she passed. She had bladder cancer, so I started taking care of family members. No, Fort Worth, and then I took care of my mom here in Lawton. So anyway, so that's been a while. I love it, and they've got really good restaurants, and the beaches are nice too.
I was going to say, we every year up until we moved my mom here, we would go there and get a beach house at Folly Beach.
See, the nice thing about the Citadel is I don't have to go get one. There's one.
There's already one there. There you go.
So I did my last night Sunday evening crier on the one town hall plan. So if y'all check it out,
You got it. And that was when?
I did it last night for I do a weekly show called the Sunday Evening Crier, and then I do daily bell ringers, and then I do on the record interviews with city council people and different people. I put in some open record requests and all kinds of stuff.
So you're coming, you'll put this online as well?
Oh, it's being live streamed right now. In fact, this is my YouTube page.
Here you go. So this is
I try to stay off the streets and out of jail.
So this is all the way
Wait a minute. This is second?
Yes. That's
Where? This is 11. So back up.
That's right. For the church, everything. So if you
Oh, there, right there in front of it, yeah.
So
Same
they-
thing.
Yes. I've put 23 years of working on all those houses. I've got 10 renters. It's my retirement. What a, they, you know, like ever since I got out of the military. So what is this?
I run a local news service that's I'm independent. It's called the Lawton Town Crier.
Okay.
We're live streaming this now, and I do investigative reporting.
Outstanding. We have a lot of information that we've been researching. Like,
Here's my card. I've put in some open records requests myself on this. So.
Yeah, I've heard of Lawton Town Crier.
Oh, good. Makes one person I know for sure.
All right.
so do you,
I know it.
everything works. My business, I live everything. That was a consultant. They just made these plans. I will get.
No, but if you go to that, I'm independent, I don't take advertising, I only take donations, and I can't afford a phone for that, because people will call me, but I've got email.
That's fine, so the whole effort is, I own all the properties there. And,
The law allows the city to foreclose on a non-project city land.
I'll be there in the afternoon if you want to stop.
I teach in the daytime, and then I have a city council meeting, and I have to be a dad and husband too, so I do this.
Well, I understand.
So since
My
I'm
kids are all grown up.
Yeah.
Well, and after like my our property. But thank you. I'll be in touch with you.
Okay.
Right.
Good evening, everybody. Thank you all for coming out. This is really kind of an informal process. We've got up here, we've got a sign-in sheet if you want to sign in. You don't have to, but you can if you want to. We've got comment sheets here that if you want to leave like a written comment or something like that with us as feedback. Again, this is a draft plan at this point, so it's really in a kind of a refinement stage at this point, and so we're taking comments on it. We'll be here, you can drop through, and if you have questions or whatnot, just grab myself or Chrissy or Cameron over there. We can answer questions on everything with the plan, but it's kind of an open house, and here to receive comments and feedback and help you learn about the plan and provide feedback. Yes, sir.
What's your name and what's your role?
Yeah, so my name is James Walden. I'm with Garber and consultant, project manager for the plan here working with the staff. Yep. All right. Well, I appreciate everybody coming out. We'll be over here.
Yes, please. So you guys just want to go look at the different plans and comments and questions?
Well, are we allowed to speak or how's this gonna work?
Yeah, you just come up here, and when you have comments, we can take comments written down or whatever else on each one of the different sheets.
Yeah, because all my properties are in that one zone. I have 16 properties there.
Yeah.
And according to your plan, you could tear all my properties.
That's not what this plan is about.
Well, it sure looks that way.
No.
Page 73.
Well, James, do you want to? This is just a land use plan. This is right now there's a current land use plan. It just designates kind of what uses are allowed in what different parts of town. And so this, every 5 years, we're supposed to update it and revise it. It hasn't been updated in several years, so this is just a big update on the land use. So this is not a demo plan. This is not any plans that we're going to do X, Y, Z. This is just a future development plan. So if a business or somebody who owns already property wants to do some development in that area, we say this is the area of town that we would support that development, and
Ma'am,
this is
you
where this
had
goes.
already designated on your plan, Vista has our neighborhood in that plan. They already have eyes on us.
But this is a land use plan, so all we're talking about is uses. So this is, again, we're just designating some areas that for potential uses in the future could be used for this list of uses.
Doesn't change what I just said.
Some of it, all of it, like what?
It doesn't change what I just
Every piece
said.
of property lot has a land use tied to it already. And so this is just updating that plan. Some of it is changing and some of it's not. This is just new, a lot of it's new wording, but a lot of it's not actually changes the plan per se. It's just different areas that we would be looking at if a developer wanted to come into town.
So if I have an empty lot down there, which I do, I could right now go to the city hall and get a building permit to build a house in that zone?
Depends on the zoning, what the zoning is, and if that use is permitted within that zoning.
Well, it's residential right now, except my side of the building where my business is, I have a business there.
Right.
It's all commercial. So, and my business is right in your zone. Plus I have lots there that I would like to build on.
Okay, again,
So that's resident, but that shows it's being sold as commercial now, not residential.
this is a future plan, this is in 2050, this is where we foresee.
I'd love to have some
And that
one-on-one conversations.
That doesn't change the zoning or what you can do there now. This is along potentially a bigger street, so we foresee this moving to commercial, in 25 years.
So if I build a house there now and put my 4 renters in it, because I have 14 properties in that one area, all of mine, if you look, are all nice and well taken care of.
Mm-hmm.
So if I build a house now and I invest $100,000 in building a house there, your future plans are that you may tear it down someday.
We don't have plans to do any of the development. This is just planning the big picture. So if you wanted to come in and say, I wanted to do, X, Y, Z, we would say, this is in line with kind of that big picture, and you would do that.
So you've still got the same, with your zoning being residential, that's essentially called a land use entitlement. So you've got that entitlement for that particular use of that property, provided, there's not things like floodplain or whatnot hazards that might prevent some sort of development. That land use entitlement does not go away. And so you have that land use entitlement. I think the concern that you're expressing is at some point in the future, is somebody going to buy my property out.
It's already got a name on it. I mean, you've already named it to that area. It's already been named for Vista.
But again, that's just a future,
That's a
what we
concept.
foresee happening in this area. That doesn't mean that's happening tomorrow. That just means this area could be used for Vista innovation in the future.
That means in the future, we could be asked to
Yeah, if a developer wanted to come in and do that, but again, the city doesn't have any plans. We don't have the money or the plans to go do this. This is just, we're designating different areas.
If Vista comes down to my neighborhood and says, we would like to, you could sell it to them right now.
I can't sell anything. You as a property owner, sell property. You have control over your property. You don't have to sell it if you don't want to.
So you can't use eminent domain on it.
There's a different bunch of circumstances that may or may not be able to be used for, but again, this plan tonight is just, making a big picture. That's why you're here to provide comments tonight. This is.
You got your future has green belts all through my property.
Again.
And it's in the floodplain, I understand that. but
Right.
Wouldn't the better idea be to fix the flood problem law?
Again, this is a big picture thing. We're required to do it every 5 years. That's why we hired a consultant. They look at it from an independent, standpoint and help us plan the land, the uses, the future uses.
Yeah, ma'am, real quick. Okay, I understand what you're saying, and that's pretty much all you can say, but we've looked at the blight study, we've seen the recommendations, the city council voted to accept the recommendations. They put a planning person with Laura to see how they can implement these recommendations. And some of the stuff on there, like I'm in the flood area down there. My family's owned the house in 73 at 407I. I've listened to these things, and you're saying, between 2nd and 11th and G to I is all flood, it's all flood. No, it never floods past the middle of the block at I and H. And so it's like this thing where you're putting this at, that you said it could be the future, but why make plans if you don't plan on doing it? It's just pretty painful.
Like I said, we're required by state statute to have this plan, so we have to do
That's
this
fine,
plan,
but
yeah.
your plan, I've seen things in minutes and everything else where people are saying, hey, that neighbor's south of the mall, we need to all tear it down, it's all in the floodplain anyway. Well, it's not all in the floodplain. I have floods.
Just because it doesn't flood doesn't mean it's not in the floodplain.
No, you're right, I'm
Yeah.
not sure, I know about flood zones, floodplains.
Yeah.
You're right, a lot of it's in the floodplain. but nothing passed, except I Avenue. So what people are concerned about is the plans. There's no point having plans if you don't plan to implement them. And everything I see when I go look through stuff is saying that we're putting planning people on this commission or this committee so we can implement these Garver recommendations. Well, when you implement something, you put it in.
These are implementing just the plan.
Yeah.
There's no implementation money, there's no nothing. This is just, we're planning for the future. So again, if a developer did want to come in and say, I wanted to put in, a Top Golf, we would say, this area is what we've designated as the entertainment district. So we would prefer you look at this area.
Yeah.
And so that's what this land use plan is a plan for the
For the future, yeah, it could be 20 years away. It's not.
well, this is a 25-year plan, so this goes to 2050. So this is an outlook all the way to 2050. Every 5 years, we have to look at it again and say what direction we want to go to.
Yeah, but I've seen the deal on top of that, planning, implementation phase, 1 to 5 years, 5 to 10 years, ongoing, and the things that are related to Vista are ongoing naturally because you have a big deal going on at the mall. That's great. No complaints about having military contractors and all that. But at some point, you're going to run out of space if you're not already. They're going to have to go somewhere, and naturally, it makes sense to go closer to where they're already at. So it's wonderful that this is, I know the 5-year plan, that's a state rule, I get it. And I understand that there's people that think that our neighborhood probably is just like disposable maybe in some ways because of whatever they perceive, flooding or otherwise, or blight, because obviously Garver has blight all over our neighborhood, just saying, yeah, it's all blighted. So I feel like we're kind of in a position, there's a lot of people that care. We have our church down there, just celebrated our 100-year anniversary, right at 8th and H. In a flood zone, never floods. But all this stuff that you guys are saying is in the future, Vista's going to be a big push because of military, because of the contracts, because of what's going on. So it doesn't make us feel warm and fuzzy whether it's just a land use plan to put placeholders there. When we see that between G and H, 2nd and 11th, where our church is, where his businesses are, and everything else. You know what I'm saying?
I think what Ms. Kristen James is trying to relay to you, that's your land. You don't have to sell your land. You don't have to sell your land. It's up to you.
I'm a builder, and I was part of the K. Yeager Coliseum. When they walked in and asked everybody, said, we're taking this intimate domain, and everybody got about 25 cents on the dollar. So that's what we're worried about. After I retired, I bought those houses. And then I started buying the neighborhood up to fix it. I have 16 pieces of property down there. That's where my wife and I have raised our children, our grandchildren come in. So Wes, we are concerned because that's we've spent all of our money buying these places to make it look better. And then when you do look at that, it shows Vista on there. So that's not saying that somebody can come in and buy that. That's saying you already have somebody targeted who would like to buy that.
Vista wants it. Exactly. Vista wants it. You know it, and you can say, we're not talking about that right now, but you actually are.
Again, I'm just staff that has to, do what I'm told by management, by state statute. We're doing the land use plan. This is the plan for 2050 land use. Back in the current land use plan of 2030 land use plan that we're under right now, it had Bishop Road as fully developed. Well, that we didn't get there, but that was the plan that they saw back then when they did the 2030. So this is just
To what now?
No, I mean, that's who you know when you went to city one.
I'm Ward 7, Council Woman Shereen Williams. For Ward 7.
yes. Yes.
I'm writing down I'm writing some stuff down.
But again, if you'll go to one of the boards in the different areas and give us your comments, we'll make sure that we include those in the plan.
Well, several years ago, Mr. Jefferson did not want to get rid of his family's funeral home that he owned in his house that his parents had built and that he lived in and was grown up and raised there. And they still forced him out and tore it all down. And it's right where right there on the corner by the gardens. What do you call it? Hilton Garden Inn? And the little beer joint thing that's there. What's it called?
That same time, I had a friend that told me, bought a piece of property from the city of Lawton, built a brand new building right behind the cables that used to sit on that corner. And they came in there and told him, we're buying your stuff, basically, and
This got to be it.
you don't have to go.
It sounds like what you guys are talking about is the urban renewal plans. An urban renewal plan is meant for redevelopment. That's not what the land use plan is.
Then they fall back on urban renewal because urban renewal has the express right in eminent domain.
Yeah.
That's the only reason they kept urban renewal open.
And they'll make sure they're doing an eminent domain right down where your new house is going to be built. And make you tear it down.
When I look at the land use plan, it says it depends on the flood. But city government's not doing anything about that. They're not doing anything about that. I mean, there's just more than I have. There's places that flood all over our city.
Yes.
I cannot understand how the city's faithfulness would grow anymore if they don't do something about the
Like I said, there's multi-tiers of this. This is, again, the big picture land use. What they're talking about with the funeral homes, those are in urban renewal plans. So those are even a more specific district, and they're meant for redevelopment. They have what's called acquisition areas, and that's what part of that Second Street was. This is a lot bigger picture than that. We're not to the urban renewal plan. This is not what this is. That's not what this plan is. But the urban renewal plans, any of those, there's 3 right now in town that are currently exist. They're along Second Street and around by the mall, and then a little bit in the downtown area. Those are urban renewal plans. That's a different level than this land use plan. This land use plan is a lot more broad. So if, like, in the entertainment district, if the entertainment district wanted to do a urban renewal plan or something like that, then it would narrow it down for specific developments and potentially an acquisition area and go from there. But that's not what the land use plan is. That the land use plan is a step back, bigger picture.
So this is one lot plan, right? That's what the name, but that's what it's called, one lot. So it's, reading through it, it has a lot more than just the land use plan. The land use plan is a part of this. But there's also the mayor's strategic initiative, there's a transportation plan, there's other plans that are rolled into what was provided, right? 100 and some odd pages here. Some of the concern is what other initiatives are going to happen in some of these areas, like what Vista has designated, or entertainment district, like we said. Are there other plans that are associated through urban renewal or any of that other development in those plans?
We're directed by council, so when they tell us to go to the next step, then we will. But
there's nothing in the works right now based on this.
no, this is just, like I said, this is what we have to do every 5 years to look at what areas we would designate as what uses in the future.
Currently now this is code. There's different zones, right? Industrial zones.
Yeah.
I-1 to I-4. This plan doesn't display that. Does it?
Well, because that's zoning, this is land use. Those are 2 different things. Zoning is more specific. Land use is just commercial. And then in the zoning code, you have different levels of commercial with different listed uses. So again, this is the land use, not zoning.
It shows this is designated as I-1.
No,
I-2,
that's the zoning map. The land use map will say just industrial.
And so is there going to be a zoning map based on this?
The zoning can't change unless a rezoning happens. This is a land use, so this is just a big plan. You as a property owner have to request for a rezoning.
The property owner has to.
So what they're asking is can they as a landowner say, no, I want to leave mine residential and I don't want it changed?
The zoning's not changing.
No, not at this time. But what if
They would
this-
have to request it to be rezoned.
Only the landowner can request. No,
That's just designating future uses. That does not change the zoning of the current
Still
property.
don't see their side.
no, we see it, we understand, but you've already banked your right, but I
The
promise.
zoning is what the zoning is.
I understand that, yes, sir.
If you don't, then you can provide, that's what today's meeting is for, so you can go provide comments for a specific area that will be incorporated in the plan.
But the zoning has not changed. You need to write your comments down. We're having it notes.
Targeted issues and strategy areas.
Yes.
Your
Words.
words, not mine.
Again, those are areas in town that we foresee X, Y, Z happening in the future. So again, like if they Top Golf wanted to come to town, we would say, this is the area that we've designated as an entertainment district, we should go there.
Vista is already here, man.
I'm not FISTA. I don't control FISTA or anything about FISTA. So that would be something you have to ask FISTA.
Tucker needs to come over.
Yes.
Mayor Booker. Thanks for Mayor Booker. That's the answer.
Who you want?
Mayor Booker.
You want the mayor?
And then, yes.
They asking for you.
And again, I don't answer this.
Some of the stuff.
Somebody's gonna have to help me here, because I can't hear a thing.
Yeah. Some, they have questions on like FISTA and what FISTA's plans are for south of the mall.
So, somebody asked about Vista and Vista's plans, I'll tell you what I think I know. And it's very well depicted over here, that south of the railroad track, as land becomes available as part of the urban renewal plan, it's considered blighted, that would be turned into light industrial for 2 blocks.
That is our neighborhood.
Sorry?
That is our neighborhood.
I can't
He
hear.
said that is our neighbor.
That is our neighborhood.
That's our church.
That is
Yeah, they got a church there.
So, you know, it could be spot done, it could be done in multitude of ways. There's no money to go in and buy people out right now, so I would say right now, if I was guessing, a company would come in.
Sir?
Okay, let me finish what I'm saying. A company would come in, they would want to expand, if that's where they want to be, they'd have to go make deals with people, is all I know. But there's no money for the city to
Can we right now, I own 16 pieces of property now. So,
You right there.
isn't even set in stone yet.
so can we, what I want to know, I own 16 pieces of property, 2 of them are lots. In that zone area right now,
The zone area right now.
I can go get a permit to build a house, residential house on my lots that I own right now. In that area.
So if it is zoned in the residential right now, yes, sir. The zoning's not gonna change, the land use doesn't change the zoning. And Christie is, and I'm
Yeah, but
sorry.
I've already bought all those properties and already fixed them all up, all have renters in them, they're nice
sir.
properties.
Yeah.
But if I invest another $100,000 to build up, to buy a piece of land off or the land that I have, if I put $20,000, $100,000 in it, I want to know that in 10 years, 20 years, 30 years from now, that house is still gonna be there.
Sir, I mean, I wish we had those kind of guarantees in life. We are staff. We go by what the code reads. And right now, what the zoning code reads in areas is what stays. The land use is an overlying on top of that. Once you are in the residential land use plan, I mean, it's like, and I don't like to use the words, it's your area. It is already grandfathered in there, and that's not what this land use is trying to do. What we are trying to do is stay with what we are supposed to do by law as a city and have a land use plan that overlays the whole city. Just because the land use says that one area is going to be commercial doesn't mean that in 20 years it's going to be commercial. It's just what we would foresee and we all have dreams. I mean, we all would love to see the city of Lawton. I'm an old Lawton girl. I've lived here, my family lived here, has lived here. And I want to see it grow. I have seen in the 70s when it was downtown was amazing. I seen when we thought destruction was going to happen because of the mall, and then we had a wonderful heyday of the mall. But we all know since COVID that the brick and mortar stores have all suffered. So we have to look at another outside the box. So, and I understand concern, and I do, and we are not dismissing you as staff, and I don't want you to think that.
I'm a contractor. I have a license in this town, have had it once.
Yes, sir.
Okay, when I build a blueprint for a customer and hand it to them, that is a plan that I plan on doing.
Yes, sir. But you don't know if that house is going to be standing 30 years from now because we don't know whether
If I build it, it's standing for 30 years, I'll tell everybody that.
He's not gonna build it, it's his land will. If he builds it, it will stay there, that's what he's saying. With the exception of the 20. I only had a chance to read the email that said, come today at 4:30, I didn't get to read all that.
So this is the land use plan. I got that. Well, there's more to it, but part of this is the land use plan. So when is the zoning?
Right, and as a property owner, and that's what we're saying, only a property owner can come in right now.
No, the city can change the zoning. Again, based on your plan, you can do that. Because this is the plan you put out, that these areas are going to change, right? And so the two have got to marry up at some point. And so that's my question. If this is the plan for the development of the city, when is their zoning going to change, and what notice are residents going to get that these changes are going to take effect?
It would be the same state statute, the 300-foot, right?
Well, I think
Area.
I don't think he's going there yet. I think he's trying to marry them together, like right now, timeline.
Well, and I understand that could
The land use plan.
I can understand that could be
It's a
an
forecast.
evolving issue, but so are we going to get notices as residents that this is happening?
That would happen.
Areas
It
are going
has
to
to
get
happen.
changed.
There has to be
We didn't get
notice.
notice of this.
For the land use plan, this has been advertised for
2
months.
Yeah, we've been
At
working on it
least.
for over 2 years.
But the
Yeah.
land use
I've been
plan,
waiting on it since I got here, but yeah.
the land use plan is a forecasting of what the perceived use of the area will be at some point.
Right.
It may be, depending on how long or how quick things move, will depend on when all that other stuff
I understand
happens.
it. I mean, this is pretty much an advertisement for industry going, we've got these areas, Now, we've got an industrial area or a entertainment zone area, and somebody wants to come into there, then that areas are gonna have to get rezoned.
They would have to petition to have it rezoned. That would be council call, it would go to, CPC first. There's public hearings that have to take place. All that has to take place. Just like any other time that we change a zoning, it has to go through the proper channels.
So right now, zoning's not changing based on this.
That's correct.
It's not even.
It doesn't, we can't change it through the land use plan. It has to go through
So like I said, we
the process of the CPC and the council, public hearings, all that stuff has to take place.
Okay. And who's had buy-off on the land use plan? Is the Economic
That's what all
Development
this
Authority
is.
and all
That's
of
what
that?
all this is about. It's to get feedback from the public and citizens of what they think.
There's been a steering, yes, sir, there's been, it's over 2 years, there's been a steering committee that includes Memorial Hospital, Cameron University, council people, people from CPC, people from the Lawton, come on, let's find out, LMPO, Lawton Metropolitan Planning Organization. There was Fort Sill, there was a huge steering committee that was part of giving input into this. And then it broke down to what they were called team leaders, per se. And that was going to be huge development people that saw, like realtors, builders, bankers. And they were all part of the visioning of the land use. They were input into that. But it's been over 2 years in the making. Garver was contracted 2.5 years ago to start the land use plan. Yes, sir.
All right, thank you.
How are you doing?
I'm all right.
Great, I flood every time. But I guess it's, my park's in the alley behind our house when it floods to make sure our cars didn't get it because the flood water doesn't go past that alleyway. So yes, there's a flood zone there. Some of it's 8 by 8, but they don't flood. The way this thing was written makes it sound like, oh, you know, this neighborhood floods. You know, it's all a flood zone over here. It's not. We felt like that was a way to say, okay, Second Amendment, G to I, that's flood area, so therefore, that we're saving, not That's exactly where the placeholder for this is. And I understand land use things, and TIF districts and all that stuff. I understand that. But what upsets everybody here is because, you know, plan's a plan, and we know things need to happen. That neighborhood down there, it's not like you guys are already setting that, well, here's what we're gonna do in the future kind of deal. And when he's talking about flooding, again, it's not correct. Nothing floods down there. Nobody gets it in their house except for I am every time I leave. So, it's legal. He talks to me now. He owns a shoe shop down there. He's been there. No, he just told us. We have to, but you got a Maddie neighborhood watch. You got Cavern Baptist Church. You started a nonprofit down here. In our neighborhood watch here.
So tell me that.
No offense to you, but I would say just for
Well, my shop was there. The mayor and town.
That's our platform.
And then, and I'm gonna talk about
I don't know anything that's been built down
We've been
there.
very successful.
I'm talking about it.
For a big event.
Because it's the runoff down there.
Your objection is noted. I'm gonna tell you that these guys.
We have to chase people out of our board of health, that's what neighbor services, get them control. You don't want that.
That's when they usually get all that.
Well, we know our area's blighted, we're not done. Like I said, my family bought my son in 1973, so I've watched it over the years.
I work in.
I was not where we made an we're trying to get grants and trying to get the project. Then we thought to ourselves, we've already started that, we're getting,
People, these engineers and the people that
what's Reggie's
supposed to be
name?
the experts that go out and take all
He's
the
been on our, he's been on our board.
I'm Christy Ryan, I'm a
We thought, we even made a sticker that said, keep your hood good. I've been talking to Kelvin, let's get a trash can down there, it's currently people with hungry hearts, put things, trash cans, let's meet there.
It's same. Well, some guys in here, woodwork in Florida, works flood.
We know, now,
But it survived the whole deal. So your experts don't mean it. I got engineer friends that run some of the biggest deals.
It's the best we have. It's certainly not a, 99.9%.
It's all about the dollar. I know what it is.
It's not a satisfactory answer, but modeling on flooding and all that changes over time. And so it's, the information that we have today is the best available information that we have, and it's not the same information that we had in the past.
But, I mean, you know, it depends on, okay, let's say Walmart. all that property around turns to runoff. Okay, how far from there do you have to consider I mean, realistically, if you think about it, everything bottlenecks down there. Everything does. Small Creek bottlenecks, Town Creek bottlenecks, and all bottlenecks, and all of this water has to go that way. So as soon as they say we want to build 150,000 square foot parking lot, you already know every bit of that water is going to be down there. It's going to impact somebody.
I know that. That would be great.
So the way that it's,
Well, this is the other problem. If you sign they went out and met somebody. Still does. They bought a bunch of stuff. They went up there and built two flood control ponds. One at Grayson's Mountain, one right across the street. When all that was put to the citizens of Lawton at the time, all that was bought up. None of that was supposed to be ever developed. Flooding anymore. Metal roof and down.
Excuse me, I'm Connie Weary. Are you a council? The what? Oh, great, can you answer some questions?
So,
I don't know if I can.
You're finance man, aren't you?
I do have a little bit.
Well, I live on the southwest side.
but it was, and I know this stuff because every city council in the last 50 years personally comes to my business. It's been coming to my business forever. And every one of them, well, Fred Pitts maybe once, but his dad used to come in. But I've heard all this crap.
Right,
50
and also
years,
the
and then it's, next thing you know, and I know it's about the dog. Why don't they go build some big old flood control pond on Small Creek up there?
asking me if they could do it. I mean, they're tearing up the yards.
They work in the right.
Give that water a place.
Okay, and I noticed
In and out, right, when we first came here, we lived in a trailer. 13 lots. It's all vacant field and shit, pretty much. Why wouldn't we go in there and dig that out?
we have one lady.
Deep as
Post-development. So when you add all this concrete or you have a development like that, you have to have an equal runoff after the development. So an engineer comes in and does that calculation to show what your post-runoff max capacity can be, and then they add a detention pond with an outlet that would allow the same runoff. So if you're running water off onto their property and you build your property up, it can't run off more water onto his property. So that's what that detention pond holds that water and lets the runoff keep going.
Remember, Jennifer said, well, that was, he did it ground.
And digging out a big hole now allows more water to be retained.
Anyway, that was, I was just wondering, remember I talked to asking like, if that's been done, and so.
Yeah, there's a lot of different ways to do detention. You can do it in parking lots as well. There's ways to design it. It's based on how the engineer wants to design it and what your wishes are. You could also do a retention pond, which is it holds water constantly, and that's where you see a lot of water features. And so that's a detention pond. So if you want to do a retention pond, it holds water constantly, but you still have the overflow, allowing the same runoff. And you could do it as a water feature, things like that. But there's a lot of places that design it to hold it in their parking lots. They'll hold the water and make sure that it flows slowly. Yeah, our stormwater division is who does the review of that.
You're just like helping. Well, there's an easement, and all the easement that is under public utility. And so they're a public utility, so they can use.
So if you wanted to build on that, the frontage there is what you would just have to be able to retain water the same amount. Yeah. Yeah, so currently our stormwater guy, his name is Mike Hopkins, and he's right up here in the building division's office. He's who does the stormwater revisions or reviews. But to actually do the calculations and stuff, that's done by a private engineer. The city just does the review of it. Yeah. Yeah, it could be as simple as you want to develop that frontage and you dig the back portion deeper to offset what you develop, right? And so that's all it is the runoff has to be equal pre and post development. Yep.
Yeah, no, they have to.
It looks like a third of the
and they can say, yes, this is somebody, this is they're required to have
how far it wasn't annexed. I don't know the exact dimension, but yeah, that's a whole section. It looks like about a third of the mile. Yeah.
Putting a solar farm on the west side.
Yeah.
Between 60th and 70th on the west side.
And where are you saying the solar farm's going? Is it inside city limits or outside city limits? Unfortunately, outside city limits, there's nothing that we can do about it. It doesn't have any zoning designation, and we're not going to be selling them water, or we don't control the electricity. PSO's electricity. There are, so everything outside of the city may be in a rural water district, and so there are several rural water districts that
Yes, and she could probably tell you, she probably knows it better than the guy, but,
there's developments happening over here that are, like there's the new houses off of 82nd Street, they're on rural water because they're on the west side of 82nd Street. But somebody on the right side of 82nd Street is inside city limits and there's not a water line there. And so they can't build on their property. Yeah. But I agree. If somebody was wanting to develop residential around there, absolutely, and that's how important designating land uses is. The whole point of zoning is to protect your investment, protect you from the adjacent
See how there's rolling, and that way you're not spraying it.
And then they come back here, so it's kind of like they skip over and they come over here. Back here with no gas. But they come right here, right through all these
Yeah, the only way the city would ever be able to affect that is if they annex it in and establish zoning on it. But it wouldn't have any say on. Yeah, and annexation now is a way more difficult process. You have to have the property owner's permission to annex it in. That just changed this past year with the new state regulations that went into place. It used to be the city could just come in and say, we're annexing this in. Now you have to have the property owner's permission to do it. Yeah. And that's what this designation, the yellow color right there, is single-family residential. That's what the city would like to see in that area. And that's all the land use plan is establishing is what the city would like to see.
How you doing?
I'm good. How are you doing?
All right. Read my stuff.
Right down there, I was.
Oh, it's probably.
Yeah, we actually just had 4 different discussion items on council, back to back with presentations, and we were implementing data centers into our zoning code. We didn't have data centers in our code. Unfortunately, the state regulations tie our hands as a city. The state regulations said we can't treat a data center any different than we treat a Bitcoin mining facility, a data processing center. And those are established to be allowed in our industrial zones. And so we already have industrial zones established, that's the gray areas. So we can't treat a data center any different than we would treat them per state statutes. But as far as the usage and things like that, our state is definitely incentivizing them to come here. But they're also a bill on the table to put a moratorium on them coming. So in Oklahoma, yeah, so, but for us, we established the use because at the point before we established it in our zoning code, we didn't have anywhere that they could go. Now we have if you're in zone industrial, any development that comes into town still has to show that we're not going to impact your water, we're not going to impact your sewer. Like, that's any development, whether you're a data center or not. So if they say they want to go somewhere, they have to tell us their usage. The engineers do a calculation on the water lines to see if it affects that area or not. So that happens no matter what development comes in, whether it's a data center or not. So I would say right now it's data centers can go in any of our industrial areas if the water is good.
how long that process
There's not a deadline. It's just we've got to have comments. So the plan
I'm jealous that you got
So the ordinance was just establishing kind of a threshold. It was almost, and again, that goes back to the state statute. By putting that megawatt piece in there, it was kind of skating the gray area on the state statute. Because the state statute says we can't treat them any different. But we were trying to get some sort of threshold that would still give us the ability to say yes or no of a data center coming in. And again, it would be up to the elected officials to say that. But I agree. There's cities like Wichita Falls that are saying, come here, come here, come here. And like Crier, Oklahoma has Googles. Crier, Oklahoma went from a $80 million county revenue to $1 billion county revenue because the Google data center went in. So I'm arguing for it, but there's a lot of arguments against it. So and those are the concerns for sure. But there's also the possibility that that data center that's requiring that much power right now, in 5 years, could be processed on an island, something that's being, and if Elon Musk has anything to do with it, he says, why are we building these on our ground? Put it in space, you don't need any cooling. I can launch it up there and put it on the satellite, and you send it to process and it'll come back like that. And there's no cooling needed because it's in space.
I love getting people together and see what it's like.
Yeah, by putting it in a regulation that they have to meet these certain thresholds. Yeah, it's kind of the same argument whether or not, if a company comes in and they want to bring something here and they want to do the 2020 technology, but they're the only ones interested, you say no to that? You say yes to that? And it's kind of a hot topic across the nation. And you have way bigger cities, Tulsa, they have a bunch of data centers. And it's because they have the incentive, they've incentivized those companies to come here. And so with the industrial development, it's an incentive to kind of fight to try to get these companies to come.
These will be sitting
No, yes, ma'am, if you just a second.
They're building them in cities now, in basements, roofs, and using them to heat the buildings. So in New York, rather than having a boiler in your basement, they put data centers there and they pump the heat through the building to heat the building. So do you need a whole quarter section in Oklahoma to do it, or are you able to do this somewhere else? And it's such a hot topic in the legislation that it's hard to establish rules as a city when the state's changing the laws every day. But I don't know if we could if the state says.
Well, okay, I'm here to, oh, see,
And truly, I would say the ones that are out there incentivizing them and trying to get them here is the Economic Development Corporation at the DC. They're the ones with the boots on the ground trying to, knowing what the options are out there. That'd definitely be up to the city council. Yeah, absolutely. So you're definitely pro bringing it here, but with a higher standard.
So they're the ones that call that's all. They make it worse by letting
Their ODOT is now proposing the turnpike to cut through. Pretty familiar with Norman? So you know where the spur is at Newcastle? Right there where Newcastle Casino is, they're going to take and turn the turnpike and go east across the river and go past I-35 and continue to go east and then go up to that. So right now there's no highway that goes that way. So they want to go Newcastle and connect Newcastle to Norman and Norman up east down I-40. So you have this big turnpike. My mom's house, Tecumseh, is the road that they will do it on. Her neighborhood is off that road. But she's not in the acquisition area. The acquisition area takes out half of her neighborhood. She gets nothing. But half of her neighborhood is wiped out and the turnpike's being built next to her house. So what happens to her property value? Now you have a turnpike and you have no access to your house besides going south and going 2 miles out of your way. And so all because ODOT wants to come in and put a turnpike, through. And again, she doesn't get, because she's not in the acquisition area, her house doesn't get bought by ODOT. If it was in the acquisition area, you get the exact appraised value, and so she'd be able to sell out and go somewhere else. But she's here, literally 1 block away from the acquisition area, so now her house is going to be backed up.
Does anybody need a comment sheet? Does anybody need a comment sheet?
They all will.
I want to go ahead and figure it out.
Well, I need a comment. All I just saw is the meeting tonight.
I got too many comments.
I'll have to look into that. For sure. With all these going all over the place and a lot of the concerns that are coming out, there's a lot of smart minds that are going to find ways to make it quieter, make it less polluted, you know, and that's what this is. And the simple language in there, you know, it could be something as simple as, you know, in our uses, instead of just saying data center, it could say a full liquid immersion data center is a use permitted, Well, and it's probably a little more expensive to go with the new up and up versus the old ways.
My younger son is 31 years old. He had to get back to his design engineer. Last year, they did. I don't know
You said you were the convenience stores? Oh, okay.
Yeah, the community stores are that I'm right down here, so if you ever have any more comments, concerns, come over to the planning department.
There's not a lot of preserved at this point. Yeah. This was the area that was in the area. And so we went into this environmental remediation. About 4 feet worth. It was just over here.
Have you seen the sunsets here? They're great.
It's really about what we were using to get part of
That's the end goal for sure. You want your space. That's what you come to Oklahoma for.
it's basically using nature functional now to help solve. One of the reasons I know why these shopping exists now does.
4 foot.
Well, my shop is almost a midget. Where I grew up, his son,
And he's got a disabled father and his daughter and his son that lives there.
water used to flood. It would rain and all the water would run off. Wouldn't see no water. I got a drainage that's out front. You could look out there and all of a sudden water would start bubbling out of
And so they did flood that up.
And then the next thing you know, it was up to the top of the curb on the road. Then the next thing you know, it's running between the houses. So that tells you it's the water that's up the creek that's coming that's causing the problem. I don't care if it's true. Yes, we are country used to. You know, you got it. There's one shit they said that Walmart building totally studied on where their water and stuff is going to make this place good. Because there used to be a house,
You have to have passion for yourself.
little car lot on the corner. It had some asphalt.
You know what I mean?
Next to it is gravel, field, and a little tire shop. And then up across the TA Chevrolet, it was a Raymond's car. It was a gravel deal. So all that area up there, all that water, so
That's what I was told when I moved here. They said stay away from the
it's all asphalt. So we were running, so we all got to run off.
Well, it was just, I mean, it was very established, and that's where it started. Yeah, and my neighbors would want to.
Typically, something in the basement says,
But you were very well.
it is designed to a certain form. I don't know if it's in the
Some of these things I recommended, you know, that doesn't hurt.
I just told you, I got 50 years already gone. The 50,000 years already come, and the 10,000 has come. So the next one is going to be the 100.
They're supposed to redo the I know that because I used to work for police, they did it.
Like I said,
So when they did
fix the flooding down there.
they were based on that.
Down there is gonna be last, it's gonna
But I think I can tell you now, because that was 50 years ago. What?
They were saying that they were gonna go away.
If you want to know what, like I said, this is what my dad was
It's through that.
My dad was
I told you a lot used to be like this.
he was just a dumb hillbilly. This is what
You too, and then,
all these people sitting in my shop, mayors, city council, people,
there was a time.
y'all spending all this money. Why don't y'all go out and talk to the engineers, like have them give them Sill, and go up to those three ranches where there's giant flood control. catch them. You would catch all that water.
You know, the less.
So it was add to the problem. But my dad told me, he said, "We'll have to spend no money, the federal government's fucking taking all this." I bet they never even come out here and talk about it. You know, that's what I'm saying. Like I said, I'm not no engineer, but I'm
This is 60, so I knew.
And I was in the 50s.
And I love.
Oh, no, you can't look that up.